Here we go. Welcome back, good people. Grind and Grace. This episode, we're talking about the continuation about what we thought about the undercover billionaire, but it's also part of the same series of how do you get out of a funk. And sometimes people feel you need to fake it till you make it. What do you say about this, Hillman?
So we left off kind of on a semi cliffhanger on part 5. This is part 6. I was commenting on what I didn't like about Grant Cardone and the series of Undercover Billionaire, where I felt like he was misleading to people, and he was doing the fake it until you make it approach, but he was kind of leaving people high and dry, or with no possible recovery of what they were investing in, like with the truck with the guy that he was borrowing for quite some time, because he was supposed to sell it, but he was just driving around and he was not making really effort to sell it. Now, I will add this caveat that this was on TV and this was edited material, that the show was just showing me what they wanted me to see and not everything that happened. So I don't know, and I'd rather not comment much deeper into it
Sure.
because I'm not trying to badmouth anybody.
Right. We have respect for him.
Yeah. I respect the man. He's done big things and great things, and he's helping people. So no bad blood. But going back to fake it until you make it, because I think that actually plays well into getting out of a funk. Because sometimes you just have to act like you're not in a funk, and sometimes the clouds will disappear
Mm-hmm.
that you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they don't. And that's when you really need somebody that you can count on and talk to, because there someone needs to be aware of what you're going through. Because if you're dealing with it all on your own, and sometimes people may feel like they don't have someone that they can communicate with, and that's unfortunate. But
Mm-hmm.
you need something, then you probably need a paid counselor or something, because you could potentially implode if your situation gets too far out of the hand, because a broken mind cannot fix itself.
Mm.
And that's extremely important. If It's like going through AA or something. I've never been. I've watched enough TV to know. It's like first you have to admit that you are an alcoholic before you can stop being an alcoholic. And so you have to identify that you have a problem in order for you to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just sitting there acting all happy-go-lucky in your mind and your outward appearance to everybody else, you're going to implode inside at some point.
I agree.
Yeah.
Even Tony Robbins said the first step to solving any problem is awareness. So,
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah. So, though I didn't go to any coaching, I've actually listened to all of Tony Robbins' material. I respect him as a coach, and in those group coaching, I've I've watched the whole conference, like Unleash the Power Within or whatever it's called. Um, the conferences that people pay buku's dollars to go to. I know it's a complete different experience going there, but as far as
You walk on fire.
the information that you receive, it's the information aspect is the same. Now the experience is much different, but information. Of course, I don't have the sidebar conversation with people there, but me being an introvert, I probably wouldn't have too many sidebar conversations.
You
in the
would.
first place.
You would. Somebody would come to you and they would latch on to you because they would like attracts like, and like you'd be surprised. Like there's like your doppelgangers out there, and he's gonna look Asian, but he's gonna be identical to you as a person, values and stuff, principles. That's crazy. I mean, you meet people there that you're like, wow, like, man, we just click. I don't even know why. Just my first time meeting you. But it's kind of like, it's like knowing what to do and then actually doing it. And it's like, yeah, you can get the knowledge from it, but when you're there, Tony Robbins says, information plus emotion equals long-term memory. So if you want to memorize something, like we want to remember something forever, there's always an emotion tied to that information. Like if you're a child and you got slapped by somebody you respect, you'll probably still remember that to this day because it was tied to an emotion. And so same thing, he ties with the experience, he ties whatever information you learn to an emotion, and like it sticks a lot longer. But when you're watching it at home or or on YouTube, it's a little different.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I guess this episode is kind of wrapping up the series of getting out of a business funk. I told you it eventually organically come to a close.
Yeah.
It couldn't draw on forever. So so
Let me ask you, did you get out of your funk yet? No, it was me. I was stuck. It was me. I was stuck.
I mean, I went through a small funk as well because I told you that uh, I, I was saving all of that money when I was in the good times.
Right, of course.
And instead of letting it sit there, I was investing it. And then 2022 hit and like sucked away 90% of that. Like just, I mean, it was just chewing through it.
90%.
I mean, I may be throwing too big of a figure, but it chewed through a big amount, and we were chewing through it as well because we living at a 10% of a higher level and keeping that 10% when that level was no longer there is now 200%. So
oh, I see.
Yeah,
living on 10% of the original gain, but now if the gain is no longer there, it's you're 200%. I get you. That's
now you're
good.
spending more than you're making. So like just getting everything back in alignment. That threw me into a funk for a little bit of time. I had to realign myself, get business back together, get myself mentally back together. There was some sleepless nights where you just have that pain in your stomach, like doggone it, man. Like I made a bad investment, few bad investments, but one in particular where I lost more money in like a 24-hour period than some people can make in a lifetime. And I was like, man, that hurt. So
How'd you handle
painfully.
that? I mean, did you tell your wife or did you
I,
have to?
I no, because it didn't impact us in an annoying way. It's just losing gains is just as difficult as losing anything
Of
else.
course. Of course.
So no, that was painful. I didn't necessarily have to discuss it with anything. It was nothing detrimental that come of it. It's
Well, I
like
figure that might help people too. Like, I mean, sometimes we lose and we like, oh, shoot, do we carry this burden by ourselves or do we share it with our spouse so they can like help us
yeah,
emotionally?
I did have someone going through the pain with me. I've actually uh, discussed it with my business partner, and he made the investment with me. He didn't put in as much as I did, but he put into it, and man, that was painful.
See?
Yeah.
You want to say the one? Because there's some people that probably have the same pain.
Oh, I don't even remember the name.
Oh, I think I know the name.
It was no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't
It
that.
wasn't that.
Oh, okay.
It was another investment I made, and it just tanked.
Dang. I had things like that. I had somebody come to me and they're like, you know, like they felt sure about this options trade. I didn't know enough about options, but because they believe so strongly in it, I put a good amount of money into it and watched that money shoot up like double. Actually, no, it got 60% within like a week or two. And I was like, oh, this is great. But I didn't know in options, like when you hit your mark, you got to get out. Yeah. And I watched I watched that investment. Yeah, boom. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the most. I mean, I think it was like 35 or 40K. But I saw that thing just evaporate into dust, and I was like, dang. You know,
All right, so since we're wrapping up this whole series,
evaporate
just
into dust. It doesn't even make sense, by the way. But
evaporates in thin air.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah. So just summarizing, like, what are some of your takeaways from this 6-part series that
Serious.
we've created here? Like,
I will say success leaves clues. Meaning, if someone else has been where you're trying to get, it's okay to learn from them. Success loves speed. Meaning, if you learn something, don't take forever analyzing. Just go out and try to make it work, right?
hmm
And if it doesn't work, what do we need to tweak, right? If you're trying to go ask for a girl's phone number and she says no, well, like, hey, well, evaluate yourself. Was my breath stinking? How was my pose? Are these my best clothes? Did I need to iron? Whatever. And then I'll say, the biggest step to solving any problem is first awareness. And I'll say lastly, Tony Robbins taught me something really neat, which is when it comes to getting what you want in life, it's model, mimic, mastery. Find someone to model after, like a role model, mimic what they do, and repetition of some other skill. Eventually, that'll lead to mastery. So I'd say those are my takeaways. What about yourself?
uh, so I'll consider you Mr. Positive, uh, and I consider myself a realist,
Hmm.
and sometimes that can be thought of as a pessimist, but it actually is not, because I can go with the positive just as well as negative. I just see where things are where they are, and just like you said, that success leaves clues. Uh, I think that failure leaves stepping stones.
Mm.
Like, I've learned more from failure than I have success. You don't learn a success.
Hmm.
In the course of succeeding, you do not learn anything. Matter of fact, you can't even uh, review or appreciate what you've done because you haven't failed. And only in failure can you appreciate succeeding. And
That's
so
good.
I've failed a lot, and I've failed a lot because of lack of coaching. But that has also been the story of my life that has helped me become who I am today. And is that a good or bad thing? I can't say. It definitely makes the process slower by experiencing a lot of failures. So, in summary, I would say embrace your failures, because it is not the end. You may be experiencing a winter, but spring is going to come, because the seasons never stop. It may be a long winter, but the seasons never stop, and spring is coming. Just stay strong, find your center point, work on your confidence, and when spring comes, you'll excel again, and success is there. So that's my wrap up.